Hi guys, Swans here, back again for another video on the channel. In this one then, it's the dreaded video, my Sky Bet Championship 2022-2023 League Table predictions. Now, before I get on to the video, if I do say your team is lower than what you expect, please do not have a go at me. I've done a lot of research for this video in terms of seeing who you guys, clubs have signed, sold, manager, form from last season. So, if you do have, an angry comment, at least put it in a polite way. Look, if I put your team below, it's just my opinion. I'm sure there's other content creators who have put your team even lower than I've predicted, or even higher than what I've predicted. So it's just an opinion. So please be nice in the comments. I've tried to be as respectful as possible with the comments I'm gonna make, but as I've done in previous years, it is a lottery at the end of the day. I could be totally wrong, totally right. I had 4 to 24 right last season, pretty easy getting a few of them with, Derby getting so many points deducted, Reading getting points deducted as well, so they would be low mid-table. But yeah, let's get on to the predictions. So, the worst one to get out the way, in 24th place, I have gone for Paul Ince's Reading. Now, with Reading, there's definitely a capability of a potential points reduction in the near future with, what's going on in their club. It's not greatly run at the moment and the finances aren't great. Of course, they've still got a transfer embargo, so they can't actually sign any players for fees either. They have brought in Shane Long and Jeff Hendrick, both former Republic of Ireland internationals, with Jeff Hendrick still in the squad now and again. Very experienced players. Sam Hutchinson has come in on a free transfer from Sheffield Wednesday, which I think is pretty decent business. Reading did concede 87 goals last season in the Championship, which was by far the highest, and if they want to stay up in the division this season, they'll definitely have to do a lot better than that. Look, they've lost a lot of quality players. John Swift's gone to West Bromwich Albion, Andy Rimmer-Hotter's gone to Cardiff City, Josh Laurent has gone to Stoke City, but they do still have some quality players in Ovi Ajari and Lucas João, who on their day can definitely help Reading stay up. But for me, Lucas João, he's such a good player on his day, but he's always injured, and Ajari has had his injury problems in the past. And look, Liam Moore comes back off loan from Stoke, been there, done it with Reading before, has been club captain, could be a good defender, and he's injured for the start of the season, will miss the first few months. So Reading, it's just not going to be all season. And Paul Ince, he done alright last season, but for a full season, I can only see Reading going down. In 23rd place, it's deja vu. It's Rotherham United. It's a shame. I really like Rotherham. We've got them in a few days' time in our opening game of the season at the New York Stadium. Paul Warren, for a guy who hasn't actually stayed up in the Championship more than one season, is a terrific manager, as we've seen last season. They have signed Tom Eaves and Connor Washington, both very tall, direct strikers. You can kind of see what sort of play Rotherham will play this season. They've signed Grant Hall from Middlesbrough on loan, which is a sensible transfer, being here and done it at Championship level before. Cameron Humphreys has come in for around about £600,000, so a decent fee from Rotherham there, and has been in Manchester City's academy before, which just shows he's got a lot of capability at this level. And they've lost a lot of key players. They've lost Michael Smith, who's gone to Sheffield Wednesday, just like Michael Aikwa as well. But Michael Smith's got 18 goals last season and had a few assists as well, so it's a lot of goals left at the team there. Ogbean, as well as the centre of creativity for Rotherham this season. Will he stay? Will he go? Who knows, because the transfer window is still open. But Ogbean is a very good player. Maybe, if he can shine this season, get Tom Eaves and Colin Washington scoring key goals, they can maybe stay up. But for me, Rotherham will be joining Reading in League One next season. In 22nd place, the last team to get relegated, I believe, will be Blackpool. I think it's going to be a bit of second season syndrome for Blackpool. Of course, they have lost their manager, who has joined Aston Villa's assistant manager under Steven Gerrard, Neil Critchley. I think that's a huge blow. If Neil Critchley stayed at Blackpool, I'd probably put them up towards 14th, 16th area. They've only made 2 signings as I'm currently recording, both loan players. Reece Williams has joined Blackpool. Look, Reece Williams had a poor spell at Swansea City. Doesn't mean he's a bad defender at all. They've not lost anyone of real quality, which is really good for Blackpool. Still got some good threat in there with Keshi Anderson and Josh Bowler on the wings. Michael Appleton, last time he was at Blackpool, was not great, to say the least. I think he was either the shortest reigning Blackpool manager or the shortest. Was not great. I believe he's actually got Preston links as well. I think, he's got good links with Preston in terms of, liking them, which is not good for Blackpool, as that's their main rival. So if, Blackpool lose 3 or 4 games in a bounce, Michael Appleton's head might be going already. Josh Bowler is still there, though, and when you've got a player of his quality in your hands, you've always got a chance. But I think, unfortunately, Blackpool will be gone. In 21st place, I've got Birmingham City. Now, I know a lot of people put Birmingham City into their bottom three, but for me, Birmingham, they'll have that 12th man. St Andrews, even when it's half full due to the stadium getting changed and stuff like that, due to refurbishments, their atmosphere is absolutely terrific at times. Of course, Lee Bowyer left the club a couple of weeks ago, and John Eustace is coming. I think that's a very, very sensible appointment from Birmingham City. John Eustace has been touted with a few championship clubs, including my club, Swansea City. Very, very good upcoming manager. They've signed Dion Sanderson, who was on loan at Birmingham before, but previously at Queen's Park Rangers. A very, very good move for John Eustace's Birmingham. And also Placetta on loan from Norwich, and then former Norwich goalkeeper John Ruddy coming in on a free transfer. Very, very good goalkeeper. Birmingham have had their keeper problems, especially last season with Neil Etheridge being off form manager. I think John Ruddy's definitely a safe pair of hands at this level. They have lost a few key players though. Christopher Pedersen over the last few years has been decent, but last season he was kind of off it. And Sunyage, who cost a lot of money for Birmingham, has left the club on loan. Hernandez has gone back to Norwich as well after his loan expired. Still have a decent squad with Ryan Woods in there, Scott Hogan, Troy Dean, Lucas Jukovic, but of course age is not on their side. One thing I did see about Birmingham though is quite a thin squad, so with the window still open until the 1st September, they're going to have to need a few more additions, or maybe my 21st place is a little bit silly. Maybe they will be in the bottom three, but for me, I think Birmingham will survive. In 20th place, I've put League One champions of last season, Wigan Athletic. Now, Wigan Athletic, in terms of transfer business, have not done much. Only 2 signings, and one noticeable one being Ryan Nyambe from Blackburn Rovers and a free transfer. They do have Joe Bennett and Graham Sheeny, who are quite experienced at the level, and James McLean as well, who's played for Stoke over the last couple of years. He's been at Wigan now for the 2nd season. Liam Richardson is Wigan Athletics manager. He has done a terrific job at Wigan. When Wigan got relegated, from the Championship, they finished 12th, really. But of course, with administration and deduct points, they actually went down the final day against Fulham, which was a big, big shame. And of course, they had to play the following season then with just youngsters and 1 or 2 experienced players, and somehow they survived. I have no idea how. And then the next season, then they brought in a brand new team with new owners, and good news for Wigan is that they won the league. I think they'll survive 20th place. I think Wigan fans will take that, even though, they don't have the best of crowds at home. The fans who do go do make an atmosphere, and it can kind of be quite an intimidating place at times, especially if you've got them, on a midweek where you're 1-0 down already. You don't want to be at Wigan when you're 1-0 down midweek, let me tell you. But yeah, Wigan 20th. In 19th place, I've put Sunderland. Now, I've seen some people's predictions. They've put Sunderland like 13th, 14th, 15th. I don't think they're going to be as good as that. I think 19th is quite a respectable place. Yes, Sunderland are a big, big club, but look, they struggled to get out of League One for a number of years, and the Championship is not an easy league, let me tell you that. What I don't want Sunderland fans to think is that I'm underestimating you. No, you could definitely do better, but I think, Alex Neil is the right man for Sunderland, as we've seen last season, getting them promoted ahead of Roy Keane. They've signed some good, really good players from Championship level before. Dan Ballard, who was on loan at Millwall, was definitely a very, very good player for Millwall, and it's a fantastic addition for Sunderland, getting him in on a permanent. Jack Clark has also joined the club. I'm a bit unsure about Jack Clark. In League One level, he's done it before, but he's had loan spells in the Championship before, and he's not hit heights. No real important players have left the club, which is always good. Danny Bath will be a key player I've picked out at the back. Played at Stoke, Wolverhampton Wanderers before, knows the Championship. And one key player for Sunderland is Ross Stewart. They need to keep that man fit. If Sunderland are to survive and have a good season, it's going to be Ross Stewart getting the goals for them. Like I said, Alex Neil, class, very underrated manager, being promoted before with Norwich City, kept Preston mid-table for a number of years, no real threat of going down, and I think Sunderland will finish 19th. In 18th position, I've gone playoff finalist losers, Huddersfield Town. Now, Huddersfield Town have had a very, very poor summer in terms of key people leaving. Carlos Corberhan has left the club by mutual consent. Harry Toffolo and one of the best players in the Championship last season, Lewis O'Brien, have both joined Nottingham Forest respectively. They have brought in David Kasumu, who's a decent player from MK Dons, does have his injury doubts though. Jack Raduni has also joined from Wimbledon, which is an interesting deal. He did very well in League One last year before they got relegated. Like I said, Carlos Corberhan's a big loss. Lee Nichols, though, I do think they've got one of the best goalkeepers in the league. That's why I don't think Huddersfield will be flirting with relegation. I think they'll be comfortably in 18th, a few points above relegation, definitely. Jonathan Hogg, captain material. He'll definitely dug Huddersfield out of trouble sometimes this season. Sober Thomas, when you've got a player like that on your hands, you're definitely not going to be in the bottom three. Jonathan Russell, a very, very big player in midfield as well. Danny Schofield, again, very, very unexperienced as a first-team coach. It's actually his first senior job in football. He's been at Huddersfield's academy level under 18s before, so, you know, he won't be new to the club. He knows all about it. But yeah, Huddersfield 18th, I think it's going to be a rebuilding season for them. In 17th, and I feel like I've done this team a little bit of injustice with this summer transfer business, I've gone for Bristol City. Now, I think Bristol City fans will be fuming with me, and, you know, realistically, they should definitely have a better season than 17th. But Bristol City have had a really, really good summer. Cal Naismith from Luton Town's a very, very good signing. Kane Wilson from Forest Green Rovers is a fantastic addition at this level. I think he'll suit Bristol City superbly. What I like about Bristol City's business is they've got rid of inconsistent players, like what they do with Jamie Patterson, who was inconsistent at his time with Bristol City. Got rid of Callum O'Dowda and Casey Palmer. That's really, really good. Good players on their day, but they're not consistent enough, and Nigel Pearson doesn't want there. They have some really, really good youngsters. Masengo, 21 years old. Semenyo, 22 years old. And a very, very exciting player in the future, Alex Scott, only 18 years old and was 10 up in the championship last season. Of course, they've got a very, very good goal scorer in Andreas Weimann, 22 goals last season, joint for top scorer, and none of those goals were penalties, which just shows Weimann's threat. I don't know why I've put the Bristol City 17th, probably a little bit silly. The only reason I can justify 17th is inconsistency. I know Masengo has got a bit of a contract issue. He's trying to run his contract down, and I know Nigel Pearson won't be having that. But yeah, Nigel Pearson, at times, he can not be the manager you want to see when you need a bit of encouragement. He's a little bit of an old school manager, and I think, you know, if they had a bit of a better manager, I'd go higher in the league, because I think Nigel Pearson's slightly outdated now. But Bristol City definitely should be pushing towards top half. In 16th place, I've put Preston North End. Now, Preston North End, I've signed Freddie Woodman, Robbie Brady, Troy Parrott, who has now been confirmed. Some very, very good deals from Preston North End. And I really like the signing of Ben Woodburn. Did alright at Hearts last season over in Scotland. And the thing with Ben Woodburn is people will probably be saying, oh, it's a poor signing. But Ben Woodburn's got to prove himself. He's got to be energetic. And if he can have a good season, who knows? He might be in the Wales squad sooner rather than later. Scott Sinclair's been released, no real surprise, probably on decent wages. Hasn't really done it for Preston in the last couple of seasons. Ben Whiteman's a key player I picked out. I really, really like the look of Ben Whiteman. Scored a free kick against Swansea City last season. He really controls that midfield. And, you know, when Ben Pearson left the club, I was worrying about that midfield, but Ben Whiteman's a suitable replacement, definitely. They got Daniel Johnson, Emil Rees and Troy Parrott as a front three. That's definitely scary. But like I said, Preston, 16th. Again, one of those sides who can be inconsistent, and maybe they can improve that, but I just think 16th is a fair reflection on Preston North End. In 15th place then, I've got Cardiff City. Now, I think Cardiff have actually done really, really good business in the summer transfer window. I don't buy people saying they've signed too many players or they've signed players who aren't hungry. I totally disagree with that. At the end of the day, as I saw in the South Wales Derbies last season, the problem with Cardiff City is a lot of their players didn't want to be there. The likes of Aidan Flint, Marlon Park, Will Vokes, all just picking up paychecks. You know, they'll say on social media that they'll thank the fans, but at the end of the day, they don't have the hunger and desire to be a club like Cardiff City. Like, they've signed 12 players in the summer, 11 gone. Whatever you want to say about Cardiff City, as a Swans City fan, you can't deny that Steve Morrison has done a fantastic job in terms of recruitment in the summer. I really like the signings of Andy Rinham-Horter, Romain Sawyers and Saye Ojo. Ojo, a bit hot and off, and last season for Millwall, hot and cold, I probably should say. But again, on his day, very good player. Romain Sawyers and Rinham-Horter, you know, really, really good signings from Cardiff. You know, midfield has been a big problem for the Bluebirds over the last couple of years, and I think that could add some stability with especially Joe Roll staying and signing a new contract. Jamilu Collins, I believe I'm pronouncing that wrong, which is not good, but Collins, a left back from Germany's second division, I think it is. What a signing that is. He's been looking really good in pre-season, and it's a bargain. And Cedric Kipper, exciting signing for me. He's been at West Brom the last couple of seasons, but not really had a chance in the first team. Don't get me wrong, West Brom got some fantastic signings at centre-back, but Kipper could be good. Perry Ng and Mark McGuinness at the back have been pretty solid last season, despite a poor Cardiff defence. And the main reason I'm putting Cardiff City 15th right now, no striker. Max Waters, Isaac Davis, Mark Harris, are they really championship level yet? I really don't know. And as I'm recording, they still have no news about a striker. If they send a striker by now, I'll be pushing them up to 12th, 11th. I could have gambled and gone a bit further, but I want to do a reflection now of where I think Cardiff will finish. If Cardiff sign a striker, I don't see why they can't finish top 12. 14th then, I've put Blackburn Rovers. 2 signings so far this summer, and the notable one being Barnsley right back Callum Britton. Decent replacement for Ryan Iambe, like I said earlier in the video, who has joined Wigan Athletic. Lenihan and Rothwell have both left the club though on free transfers, which is a bit of a blow, not getting any fees for those really, really good players. Kaminsky, Harry Pickering, Lewis Travis, Bradley Dack and Ben Burton Diaz are very, very good players. Only problem with Bradley Dack and Ben Brereton Diaz is, though, their fitness. Ben Brereton Diaz had a really, really good start to the season, picked up a little bit of an injury, second half of the season, kind of vanished. Bradley Dack, we all know what player Bradley Dack can do. I think if he could stay fit, he'd be where James Maddison is now in the Premier League, flew with the England squad, but it's just not happened for Bradley Dack in terms of injuries. And I think those two, again, will they stay fit for the whole season? I don't think so. Hence why I've put Blackburn in 14th. 13th position, I've gone for Queen's Park Rangers. Of course, Michael Beale's first job in management after Mark Warburton's contract ran out and he joined West Ham as a coach. There's some very experienced players at this level, despite them being quite young, in Jake Clark-Salter, Tyler Roberts and Taylor Roberts. So I think he's going to be a really, really good player. There's nothing better than seeing a homegrown player playing for your club and giving 100% whatever the result. So QPR fans will be buzzing with that signing. They did lose Charlie Austin, not huge of a blow, but he did chip in with a few goals last season. Sending Dieng, Jimmy Dunn, Johan Barbitt, Elias Chair, Chris Willock are the players I picked up for QPR. If they can stay fit this season, QPR have definitely got a chance of top half or even playoffs. But I know last season they had a lot of goalkeeper issues. I know they had to bring in David Marshall and Kieran Westwood, and even those two got injured and they had to play an academy goalkeeper who did reasonably well. But QPR, decent side, consistency, Michael Beale's first job, hence why I've put them in 13th. In 12th then, I've gone for Swansea City. Now, I always put us 12th. I don't know why, I don't mean to put us 12th. It's just that I think some teams have got worse squads and some teams have got better. Now, on paper, we do have a very, very good squad, but I still think inconsistency is going to cost us this season. We've signed Harry Darling, Joe Allen, Nathan Wood from Middlesbrough, decent signings. At the time of recording, no recognised right wing back in the club, which is very, very annoying indeed. Matty Serinola can cover both sides, but is preferred on the left. Losing Flynn Downs is a huge, huge blow. As good as Joe Allen is, he's not Flynn Downs, and Flynn Downs is going to have a fantastic career at West Ham United. We're desperate for a right wing back. It can't happen at the moment. We've got to let some players leave before we can bring players in. But yeah, Russell Mann, he's a really, really good manager. As we've seen in the pre-season, some mistakes were happening, and I think that could creep into the season. Look, we've got one of the best goal scorers in the league, Joe Pro, still currently contracted to the club, which is massive. Michael Obafemi, Julian Patterson, Cameron Congreve getting in. So we've got all the right boxes, but it's just that inconsistency with other teams like Queen's Park Rangers, Preston, Bristol City, mid-table teams who have got really, really good teams on paper, but just can't find that consistency to finish top 10. And I think inconsistency is going to cost us yet again, as we'll be staying in the Championship, in my opinion. 11th place, I've got Coventry City. Now, I really, really like the look of Coventry City. Every single season, they seem to improve on their league position and sign very, very good players, and they've done that again. Jonathan Ponzo and Callum Doyle, two centre-backs, have joined the club. Really, really like the look of Callum Doyle, only 18 years old, coming in from Manchester City, already in the Championship. I think that's going to be a fantastic addition. And Jonathan Ponzo has already scored for Coventry in pre-season, which just shows he's going to be a threat from set pieces. They've got a great squad: Moore, Hamer, O'Hare, Yorkers, Matt Gordon. What a front two that is in terms of Yorkers and Gordon. I know Gordon suffered with injuries last season, and I've said this about so many key players in the Championship already. If they can stay fit, they'll have a good season. O'Hare, fair play Coventry, keeping him, £6 million price tag. Yeah, Coventry, I think they're going to have a decent season. In 10th then, I've gone the Porters, Stoke City. Now, my gamble on this is that Michael O'Neill is not going to last the season. I'm going to gamble he's going to get sacked in October, November time. They're going to bring a manager in and go on a really, really good manager bounce and level the season out in 10th place. Now, like I said, I don't think Michael O'Neill's going to last the season. I think it's just a bomb waiting to happen, to be honest, in terms of him leaving the club. I think he's been there quite long now and I haven't seen much Stoke progression. But Dwight Gale, what a signing this is. 32 years old, hasn't had consistent game time over the last couple of seasons, but I still think it's a fantastic signing. Him and Tyrese Campbell up front is fantastic, fantastic options indeed. Aidan Flint, as much as I don't like the guy, and as he scored against Swansea City in the past before, he can have his off days, but does bring leadership. Josh Laurent for Joe Allen, it's a very good replacement. Younger, more mobile, really good replacement there from Stoke City. They brought in Will Smallbone and Kilkenny, both from Premier League clubs on loan. Really, really good versatility in the midfield. I'm really liking Stoke's midfield this season. Both loans, like I just said. They did lose Joe Allen, James Chester, Afobe, which isn't really of a loss, but are on high wages, so Stoke are clearing the wage bill a little bit as well. Tom Ince also leaving the club. I'm quite surprised that Mario Vrancic has left the club on loan. I thought he'd stay. Had a good start to the season last season before picking up an injury. Harry Suter currently injured, but had a really, really good season when he was fit last season before, he was on loan at Fleetwood Town as well. Baker, Powell, Campbell, Brown, really, really good players, but I've put in my notes here, O'Neill question mark. Can O'Neill get the best out of that Stoke team? I don't think so. I think another manager might come in. and that Stoke team on paper is definitely top 6 potential. It's just the manager I've got a slight worry about. Into my top 9 now, and I've gone for Hull City. Hull City have done some really, really good business in the summer transfer window. Jean-Michel Seri is a fantastic signing. They signed Turfan, who, let's just say, didn't have the best of times at Watford, but at Championship level, you'd assume he can do it. They've signed Cynic as well. They've signed Syed Manash. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Hull City fans. And of course, Nathan Baxter has joined on a loan, but with an option to buy at the end of the season, which could be massive for Hull because he looked really, really good last season in goals for them. Of course, with most teams in the Championship, you will lose key players, and unfortunately for them, Keane Lewis Potter joined Brentford, had a really good fee for him though, so Hull have already reinvested that into some Turkish league players. George Honeyman and Tom Eves left on free contracts. Even a bit surprised about. He scored against Swans last season, can be a different option off the bench if you're 1-0 down, you want to go a bit more direct, but Hull want to play a good player football with Seri signing and stuff like that, so you can see what Hull are doing. I'm undecided on Shota Al-Fazid. Apologies about pronunciation, I really am sure, but he's only had 1.16 points per game with Hull City. He has had a really, really poor time in terms of picking up results with Hull. Again, similar with Michael O'Neill, kind of gambling on them getting a new manager to get the best out of the squad. Hull Stoke squads are really good. It's just the manager got a question a mark about. But Hull, I definitely think they'll improve on last season, and hence I've gone for 9th. I really like the look of their squad. 8th place, I've gone for Burnley. Now, I've seen people predicting Burnley to win the league, come second, come in the playoffs, but for me, I think people are giving Burnley a lot of overestimation. I don't think Burnley are going to have a good season in terms of where people are predicting them. I think 8th, it's going to be similar to when Stoke came down. Everyone expected Stoke to get top 6. Same with Sheffield United last season, top 2. And it doesn't happen in the Championship. You've got to be careful. And I think some of the expectations which are being put on Burnley will put expectation and pressure on Vincent Kompany and the players. And I think some of them will flop under the pressure. They've lost Nick Pope, Nathan Collins, James Tarkowski, Ben Mead, which is big, big blow. 3 really good centre-backs there for Burnley. And again, that could be why the reason I'm going to pick them to finish 8th. Josh Collins, Scott Twine, Ian Matson, all good signings, especially Scott Twine. Could definitely be a contender for player of the season. I've got to be honest, I'm unsure on the goalkeeper situation. Muric on a permanent deal. Last time he was in the Championship, he did really, really poor, and that's the problem. Sometimes with these foreign goalkeepers, they're not too confident coming out with their goals and catching things, as we've seen with Swansea with Christopher Nordfeldt before. And look, they got Peacock Farrell, who had injuries and error prone at Sheffield Wednesday last season. I've just got that concern about the defence. On paper, they've got some good defenders in terms of Connor Roberts, Cornet, McNeil. Situation undecided on them, but Burnley have spent. But again, situation about their manager. Is Vincent Kompany the right man to get Burnley back into the Premier League? And for me, no, I don't think they're going to get top 6. 7th place then, I've gone for Millwall. Like I said, I always seem to put Millwall and some other teams in the same position every single season. Reason I've put Millwall 7th, really good squad on paper, replaced Jed Wallace, which was the big, big issue with Zion Fleming in joining from Fortuna Sittard over in the Eredivisie. Had a really, really good season for the team who kind of struggled last season. Benedict Four being a permanent signing is unreal business. I think he was on his way to Club Brugge, if that's right, but failed a medical, and Millwall jumped in and got him. 1-year deal, which is sensible from Benedict Four and Millwall's point of view, but last season he was really, really good for Millwall and definitely will add some good depth up front. They've signed 2 players on loan from Leeds, Cresswell and Shackleton, which I think is fantastic business, both highly rated from Leeds United point of view. Like I said, only big loss is Jed Wallace, and arguably they've replaced him with a younger Jed Wallace who can actually play central, with Wallace was more of a wide man, could play central but definitely better wide. Bilakowski, Cooper, Wallace as a front three into the goalkeeper and 2 centre-backs, fantastic. Bilakowski, 35 years old, still doing the business for Millwall. I believe he's 35 or around about 35. Cooper and Wallace, definitely should be playing in the Premier League by now, but sometimes you see these players work so hard at Championship level in terms of their club. In the Premier League, they look a bit, out of depth, really, in terms of you don't used to see him. You see him at Millwall for so long, and I really like that signing. Ballard did leave, but, Millwall, I think they'll be fine this season. Into my top 6, and I'm going for back-to-back playoffs for Luton Town. Luton Town last season had a tremendous season, did pick up on a lot of inconsistent results from other teams, which did help them get into the playoffs, but at the end of the day, Luton Town did their job, won games, drew games, had to get results when they did, and fair play to them. I think Nathan Jones at Kenilworth Road is an absolute fortress to go to. As we seen last season, I thought they were the better side against Huddersfield over 2 legs, and arguably should have won and got to Wembley, but it wasn't to be. They signed 2 strikers in Carlton Morris and Coley Woodrow. You look at that and think, ooh, not great signings, both got relegated with Barnsley, I tell you what, Nathan Jones gets the best out of these players. We've seen with Henry Lansbury last season. People thinking, he's finished after his time with Aston Villa, but he got the best out of him, apart from kicking Ryan Mangan, of course. Alfie Doughty, Luke Freeman, again, players who haven't had the best of years at their respective former clubs, but Nathan Jones will definitely get the best out of them. I've seen a lot of people saying Carl Naismith, huge blow. Look, it's a decent-sized blow, but Luton will replace him. This is what Luton and other teams do. They sell players. Obviously, Carl Naismith was a free transfer, but they'll find a better replacement. Of course, Carl Naismith, 30, age wasn't really on his side. Luton will be fine with that. I think they'll be fine. Onyedema, Adebayo, Campbell, Bradley, some of the players I've picked out. Luton's options up front are absolutely ridiculous. How Luton Town have got Onyedema, Adebayo, Morris, Woodrow, Cameron Jerome as another option. I think Luton will definitely get playoffs this season. 5th place, I've gone for West Bromwich Albion. I think Steve Bruce is going to last the season. I hate they're just disrespecting Steve Bruce. People complain about his weight or the cabbage. At the end of the day, he's a good manager. I don't care what anyone says about his style of play. Steve Bruce is a good manager at this level. They've signed Jason Malumbi, John Swift, Wallace, Yukaslu has rejoined the club. Some fantastic signings from Steve Bruce there. They have lost Sam Johnston, but I don't think that's a blow at all. He didn't want to be at the club, and at the end of the day, regardless of who you are, if you don't want to be at the club, you're not going to play your best. And West Brom have already brought in a new keeper. Semi Ajayi, O'Shea, Bartley, 3 fantastic centre-backs at this level. They've done it before at championship level as well and got promoted. Alex Mowat, Dean Garner, Dyke, Grant for some fantastic options. You look at John Swift, Alex Mowat from midfield, passing the ball to Dean Garner, Colin Grant, crossing into the box to Daryl Dike. I think West Brom can have a fantastic season, and they deserve it after the horror they went through last season. 4th place, I've gone for Watford. Similar to what I said about Burnley, I think people are overestimating Watford. Would Watford fans take 4th? I'm not too sure. They'd want to aim for automatic promotion. Again, Rob Edwards, is he going to last the season? I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say no. We all know what Watford are like. It's a big step for Rob Edwards and a big job. He did really well with Forest Green last season, winning the league with Forest Green, obviously getting them up to League One. Decided, he didn't want to stay around and, went to Watford, which I totally understand. It's a huge club, Watford, in terms of head of Forest Green, and obviously he's going to get a nice paycheck as well. Watford have signed Vakun Isaf Bayo for 5 million, or around about that. They've also signed a player from Barcelona called Ray Manaj, and, unexpected signings, Ben Hamer as well. But with Watford, I've realised they've got a lot of nationalities in there. So Rob Edwards better start learning some foreign languages if he wants to communicate with his players anyway. But yeah, Watford have got a really big squad. Cucho Hernandez has left the club. Musa Sissoko, Philip Zinkernagel, Josh King, Andre Gray, Messina. A lot of high earners there have left the club. And what I liked about Rob Edwards, where he said a couple of weeks ago, and they got quoted in the media, was that if you don't want to be at the club, don't be here. He only wants players committed. And what I've noticed is Ismaili Sarr actually played in the friendlies, which shows that Ismaili Sarr might be back in the Championship, which is not good for 23 clubs, including myself. Like I said, still have Ismaili Sarr and Emmanuel Dennis. If those two stay, maybe top 2 can be a name, but I'm going to gamble on Emmanuel Dennis leaving, and I think Ismaili Sarr will stay at the club. Rob Edwards, who knows at Watford. In 3rd place, I've gone for Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough have a fantastic squad. Only problem with Middlesbrough, where is your striker who's going to score 15 to 20 goals this season? Chris Wilder, top 3 managers in the division for me, no arguments about that. They signed Ryan Giles on loan from Wolverhampton Wanderers, who was very good at Cardiff. At Blackburn, a little bit hit and miss, but Blackburn were in a tough spell at the time. Darrell Lenihan from Blackburn Rovers, again, what a signing that is. And they've also signed Zach Steffen on loan from Man City. Now, people look at Zach Steffen thinking that's a great signing, but when I did watch him for Man City, especially in the FA Cup semi-final against Liverpool, he was not great at catching the ball, coming for crosses. And at the Championship, it's all right in the Premier League, but the Championship, there's a lot of crosses, a lot of corners, a lot of physicality. Not sure about that Zach Steffen signing, but what I will say is it's definitely not upgrading Joe Lumley after what he had last season with Middlesbrough. They've lost Jared Spence. Didn't really have him though. They already had a fantastic player in Isaiah Jones, potentially an upgrade. So it's just free money for Middlesbrough in that one. Nathan Wood did leave the club. Not much of a first team player there, but was a Middlesbrough boy. So a few of their fans disappointed with that one. Martin Parejo has been loaned out. A shame for Middlesbrough that's not worked out. Cost a lot of money last summer, and that could be why you're not spending the money on a striker. You just don't have it. Paddy McNair, Matt Crooks, Isaiah Jones, like I just mentioned, Marcus Tavernier. Wow, what a team that is for Middlesbrough. The only lick and miss is that striker. If they get that striker by now, I would put them in the top 2. But Middlesbrough 3rd. I think they're going to be a force this season, especially at Riverside, with their fans being the goal, some of the best I've seen. 2nd place, I have gone for the Blades. Sheffield United, Paul Heckingbottom, I put my hands up and apologise to you. When he took over from Jukanovic, I thought, what are Sheffield United doing here? He's not had a great time recently in football, but he changed their season. Look, there's some terrific results. Swansea 4-0, Fulham 4-0 in the final day, did well in the playoffs, just unlucky to lose to Nottingham Forest on penalties in the end. They've signed Arnel Ahmedhovic for a lot of money at a centre-back, and their centre-back options are absolutely ridiculous, which I'll touch on now. Kieran Clark is another signing they've brought in from Newcastle on loan. Tommy Doyle on loan as well from Manchester City, who had a really good season at Cardiff last season. Oliver Burke, Dean McGoldrick, Luke Freeman have all left the club, which, let's be honest, not real blow. Dean McGoldrick, yes, he's a goal scorer at this level, but age isn't on his side, and, you know, they've already got Billy Sharp and some youngsters in that area. Look at their centre-back options. Chris Basham, John Egan, O'Connell, fantastic. Add Ahmad into that as well, or Ahmad, I should say, probably. Yeah, really, really good options. They've got good goalkeeping options in Adam Davis and Foderingham as well, who did really, really well with Sheffield United last season. But yeah, only problem with Sheffield United not winning the league is probably the other team who... Let's go on in a minute now. But yeah, John Fleck, Xander Berge if he stays, Rhian Brewster, Billy Sharp. If Brewster can be fully fit, look, his potential golden boot contender, definitely. Billy Sharp scored a lot of goals last season. Aged on his side, but still there. McBurney, we all know McBurney's got potential. It's just he's more interested in fighting and causing havoc off the pitch than causing havoc on the pitch in terms of scaring defenders. But yeah, set for Sheffield United, I think they're going up. And in first place, I have gone for Norwich City. The bang-on prediction, at least I'm going to get one right this season, I guess. Yeah, Norwich. Dean Smith, again, another manager like Steve Bruce and other managers in the division, quite harshly treated after their time in the Premier League. They've both done it at Championship level before. Dean Smith has done it with Aston Villa before, winning promotion with them, taking over from Steve Bruce, funny enough, and obviously getting them promoted in the playoff final against Derby County. They've signed Gabriel Sarra for around £6 million, which is a really, really good business. I was worrying slightly about their creativity, but a Brazilian in a championship is always going to scare me because of what they've done in the past. Brazil. Isaac Hayden on loan is a very, very sensible signing, a really good central defensive midfielder at this level, also can play box to box. They've lost Christopher Zimmerman and Lise Moulet. Quite surprised with Zimmerman going, been there and done it before with Norwich, but as I'm going to mention in a moment, their centre backs are no short of quality, especially Tim Krul, Gibson, Hanley. Like I mentioned with Millwall, these three have played together for a lot of time. Ben Gibson, really, really good defender. Grant Hanley plays for Scotland, really, really good at the championship level. Tim Krul, aged on his side, but with goalkeepers you can play until your 40s, like we see with Gigi Buffon. Krul's amazing, and even if Krul, you know, does pick up a suspension or injury, they've just casually got Angus Gunn sitting on the bench, which is really, really scary. The back four potentially, who I think is the best in the league, with Max Aarons, Hanley, Gibson, and the Greek Dimitros Ginolas at left back. Pukki, Ida, and Hugel up front. I know Hugel did okay at Cardiff, didn't really get as many goals as many expected, but still, if Pukki gets an injury, we're not going to play Adam Ida, Jordan Hugel. Yeah, squad depth is ridiculous, and Dean Smith has been there before, done it. Norwich will spend money in January if means be, and yeah, I think Norwich will win the league as usual, and we'll probably see him back in the Championship in 2 seasons' time. Thanks guys for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your predictions down in the comment section. Let me know everyone's predictions between 1 and 24th. I think I've done a reasonable job. Would I change 1 or 2? Yes. But look, it's a very hard thing. I'm just taking a gamble. I'm just casually sitting here at my screen, essentially, talking to you guys, giving my thoughts. Am I going to be right? No. But it's a prediction. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and the season is this close from starting. Can't wait for it. Best luck to all 24 teams. Hopefully we see some fantastic goals, some more fantastic signings, some fantastic songs in the crowd. And we're just looking forward to seeing some football. It's been too long without it yet again. But yeah, thanks for watching. Those are my championship predictions, and I'll see you in the next one.